An Investor Complaint Guide. Chapter 1. Investor Rights, Fraud is a Crime. Investors' Bill of Rights. The National Futures Association, 800-676-4NFA, nfa.futures.org, puts out a free pamphlet called Investors' Bill of Rights. The North American Securities Administrators Association does too. There are many regulations imposed by the government on the investment industry, but a lot of people in this business are naturally arrogant and flagrantly disobey the rules because they think they are superior and everyone else are plebeians. Don't let them intimidate you. If you feel taken advantage, start by speaking up to the SEC and your local district attorney's office. Basically, some of your rights are as follows. Honest advertising. Even though investment companies are supposed to register with regulatory agencies and the regulatory agencies monitor advertising sources like publications for misleading ads, some scam artists set up shop quickly, bilk some customers with unbelievable claims, then move on before the complaints get to the seconds or the FTC. Just because an ad is on TV or on the radio doesn't make it legitimate. Before you buy, contact either the seconds, FTC, ENFA, or the BBB to check up on the company. The right to full and accurate information. Full and accurate history of both the company and the person handling your account, both from them and the State Securities Commission. Full disclosure of risks, usually in writing. Explanation of costs and terms. No unforeseen or hidden costs. Explanation of risks. Receive a copy of all completed contracts. Receive regular honest account statements. Have access to your funds in a timely manner and be told of any restrictions or limitations to access. Receive fair and prompt service about your account with any concerns you might have. High-pressure sales tactics are morally wrong and suspicious. Obligation to manage your money to the best of their ability. Access to your funds. The right to complain and seek remedy through legal and regulatory channels. Regulation Fair Disclosure/Reg FD. In 2000, the SEC enacted Regulation Fair Disclosure/Reg FD, which requires companies to release important information to everybody at the same time, not just to insiders first. As a result of this, companies are now releasing announcements on their websites when they have important information. If you are a shareholder, you are entitled to see this information. They are called webcasts. Go to sec.gov to learn more about Reg FD. The following websites are webcast intermediaries. They show the announcements of a number of companies. bestcalls.com. ccbn.com. Chapter 2. Investor Complaint Resources. Get rid of cold call stockbrokers. If you get called by stockbrokers and other financial people wanting you to invest your money with them, just tell them you're a stockbroker with Fidelity, Vanguard, etc. By law, a stockbroker has to keep his or her account with the company they work for. Tell the telemarketer you're not allowed to invest with other companies. Securities and Exchange Commission. 202-942-7040. sec.gov. Investment Recovery Services. These businesses and organizations help people who were ripped off in fraudulent stock investment schemes and some money-making scams like Ponzi schemes. InvestorsRecoveryService.com, Investors Recovery Service. IFRN165.com, Investment Fraud Recovery Network, Clearwater, FL. World Securities Regulator and Info websites. IOSCO.org, International Organization of Securities Commissions. NASAA.org, North American Securities Administrators Association. NASDAQTrader.com/trader.aspx?ID =Boston_stock_exchange, Boston Stock Exchange Clearing Corporation. SIC. CMEGroup.com/clearing, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. CME. DDCC.com, the Depository Trust Company. DDC. DDCC.com, Fixed Income Clearing Corporation. theice.com/clear_credit.jhtml, ICE Clear Credit. ICC. theice.com/clear_europe.jhtml, ICE Clear Europe. ICEU. ddcc.com, National Securities Clearing Corporation. theocc.com, the Options Clearing Corporation. hlx.cch wallstreet.com/nasdaq-omxbhlx/sccp, Stock Clearing Corporation of Philadelphia. abanet.org/dch/committee.cfm?com $CL4100000, ABA Committee on Federal Regulations of Securities. abanet.org/govpub/home.html, ABA Government and Public Sector Lawyers Division. aicpa.org, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. cfp.net, Certified Financial Planners Board of Standards, Inc. fosb.org, Financial Accounting Standards Board. iasb.org, International Accounting Standards Board. pcaob.org, Public Company Accounting Oversight Board. investor.gov, investor.gov. Information on investing wisely and avoiding fraud. investor.gov/tools/other-resources, other investor education websites. law.utoledo.edu/financial regulators, financial regulators gateway. Lists securities, banking, and insurance regulators in the United States. Unclaimed.org, National Association of Unclaimed Property Administrators. Regaining property, including lost certificates, uncollected dividends, other lost investment instruments. SEChistorical.org, Securities and Exchange Commission Historical Society. Research and educational programs concerning the SEC. sec.gov/links.html. Arbitration organizations. Many brokerages have clauses in their contracts which say you can't sue them, that you must take the case to some manner of binding arbitration. Brokerarb.com. sec.gov/consumer/arbproc/arb/toc.htm, article about arbitration. To obtain further information, contact the Director of Arbitration at one of the following self-regulating organizations. American Stock Exchange, Inc. 86 Trinity Place, NYC 10006. 212-306-1000. Amex.com. New York Stock Exchange, Inc. 11 Wall St. NYC 10005. 212-656-2772. NYSE.com. Philadelphia Stock Exchange. 1900 Market St. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19103. 215-496-5000. 800-843-7459. Fax, 215-496-5653. FIEX.com. Some general arbitration organizations are: American Arbitration Association, ADR.org. National headquarters of this non-profit organization with 37 regional offices. Commodity Futures Trading Commission. Office of Proceedings. CFTC.gov. Fee to file depending on the amount you are suing for. National Association of Securities Dealers, Inc. 800-289-7999. NASD.com. NASDR.com. National Association of Securities Dealers Arbitration. 800-289-9999. NASDR.com/PDF-text/9890 Free Mediation Booklet. National Futures Association. 800-572-9400. 800-676-4 ENFA. NFA.futures.org. North American Security Administrators Association. 202-737-0900. 888-846-2722. 888-84 NASAA. NASAA.org. Will give you local referrals to check out stockbrokers. Public Investors Arbitration Bar Association. Norman, OK. 888-621-7484. 404-365-0150. PABA.org. Will recommend a lawyer for arbitration. Auditing services to audit your investment accounts. If you think your investment account is being mismanaged, you can get an audit/checkup done for a fee from Green Track, 60 East 42nd St. NYC 10165. 800-815-3434. Stockbroker Analysis. 576 14th Avenue South, Naples, Florida 34102. 941-261-9106. $75 an hour. Chapter 2. Securities Law Info. Securities Law Websites. sec.gov/complaints.html, 202-942-7040. seclaw.com. securities.stanford.edu, Securities Class Action Clearinghouse. CorporateCrimeReporter.com, Corporate Crime Reporter, legal newsletter on corporate prosecutions. SIPC.org, Securities Investor Protection Corporation, pays if brokerage fails. law.uc.edu/ccl/34forms/index.html, free securities forms from the Securities Lawyer's Desk Book. MSRB.org, Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. NASDR.com, NASD Regulation Code of Arbitration. finare.org/investors/index.htm, Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, investor information including background checks on brokers and brokerage firms. securitieslaw.com, Securities Fraud and Investor Protection. siaonline.org, Securities Industry Association. Securities Fraud Lawyers/Investment Fraud Lawyers. Investment fraud lawyers occasionally represent the white-collar criminals, but more and more, they are taking on cases of investors who have been swindled by unscrupulous money managers, brokers, etc. If you feel your financial services analyst ripped you off somehow, don't be shy about going to an investment fraud lawyer. investmentfraudlawyers.com. investmentfraudlaw.com. attorneysforinvestors.com. financialfraud.info. investmentfraudattorney.com. investmentfraudlawyerblog.com, Atlanta, GA. investorsrecoveryservice.com, Investors Recovery Service. stockloss.us.com, investment fraud lawyer, specializing in stock loss and 401(k) hidden fees. securitiesarbitrations.com. securitiesfraud.org. stockbrokerfraud.com, investment fraud lawyer, securities arbitration lawyer. stockfraudusa.com. stockinvestmentfraud.com, lawyer referrals. stockmarketloss.com, Ohio securities fraud lawyer. wallstreetfraud.com. brokerfraudattorneys.us. Chapter 4. Investor Fraud Websites. Investor Fraud Websites. 1. There are a few investors' recovery services around that specialize in getting money back for investors ripped off by fraudulent investment professionals, but they're far and few between. Your best bet is to look for an investment or securities lawyer who sympathizes with your case. There are securities arbitration services for investors seeking to recover stock market losses due to investment fraud or stockbroker misconduct. Check to see if the company is registered with the SECs and has filed a Form BD. If it hasn't, call the Secretary Office of Investor Education and Assistance, 202-942-7040, or the National Association of Securities Dealers hotline at 800-289-9999. For problem with futures, call 800-676-4ENFA, nfa.futures.org. Refer to sec.gov and cftc.gov for more info. The National Futures Association, 800-676-4 nfa.futures.org, offers 2 free pamphlets swindlers are calling an investment swindles. aarp.org/money/wise_consumer/investment_fraud. bbb.org, Better Business Bureau. Bloomberg.com, some information about this phenomena. ConsumerFed.org. Crimesofpersuasion.com. cybersecuritislaw.com. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/investment_fraud. finare.org/investors/protectourself/investor alerts/p116996. foe.org/international/shareholder, confronting companies using shareholder power. fraudrecoverycenter.com. investorsrecoveryservice.com. funddemocracy.org, mutual funds law watchdog in Washington. iexchange.com, report on the track records of financial analysts. nasaa.org. ripoffreport.com. securitieslaw.com, securities fraud and investor protection information. theinvestorslawyer.com/common_broker_misconduct. wallstreetinvestmentfraudlawyer.com/investor-education. Investor fraud websites too. financialfraud.info. financialweb.com/stockdetective. forbes.com, look up investment fraud. fraud.org/tips/internet/investment.hdm. ftc.gov/reports/fraud/invest.shdm. investmentfraudinfo.com. investmentfraudlaw.com. investorducatian.org, the Investors Clearinghouse from the Alliance for Investor Education. investorprotection.org. nasaa.org/investor_awareness_quiz/index.cfm. scambusters.com. scams.com. sec.gov/investor/pub/cyberfraud.hdm, internet fraud, how to avoid internet investment scams. securitiesfraud.org. shareslowth.com. stockinvestmentfraud.com. usps.com/postalinspectors/fraud/invest.hdm. investor fraud websites 3. brokerarb.com. investoraid.com. investorprotection.org. mediations.com. American Bar Association. Standing Committee on Dispute Resolution. 1800 M Street, NW. Washington, D.C. 20036. 202-331-2258. abanet.org/public. Education or referral to investment lawyer. Investor Protection Trust. investorprotection.org. Video about handling complaint with financial professional. National Association of Securities Dealers Inc. National HQ, NASDAQ. 1735 K St. NW. Washington, D.C. 20006. 202-728-8000. 800-289-9999. NASDAQ.com. NASDR.com. Checks on the disciplinary history of a broker for you. They have 14 district offices. Also call your state securities administration office to check brokers out. They will also try to resolve your complaints regarding stocks and offer a variety of publications. Public Investors Arbitration Bar Association. Norman, OK. 888-621-7484. 404-365-0150. paba.org. Will recommend a lawyer for arbitration. Commodity Futures Trading Commission. 2033 KST, NW. Washington, D.C. 20581. 202-254-6387. cftc.gov. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Justice Department. 9th St. and Pennsylvania Ave, NW. Washington, D.C. 20535. 202-234-3691. FBI.gov. Federal Trade Commission. 6th and Pennsylvania Ave. NW. Number 130. Washington, D.C. 20580. 202-523-3598. 877-382-4357. FTC.gov. Housing and Urban Development Department. Interstate Land Sales Registration. HUD Building. 451 7th STSW. Room 6262. Washington, D.C. 204108000. 202-755-0502. HUD.gov. National Association of Securities Dealers. 1735 KST, NW. Washington, D.C. 20006. 202-728-8044. 800-289-7999. 800-289-9999. NASD.com. Ask for a Central Registration Depository Report/CRD on a stockbroker. Securities and Exchange Commission. 450 5th STNW. Washington, D.C. 20006. 202-728-8233. sec.gov/enforce/comctr.hdm. Securities Fraud Hotline. 800-222-4724. United States Postal Service. Chief Postal Inspector. Room 3021. Washington, D.C. 202602100. 202-268-4267. USPS.gov. Postalinspectors.usps.gov. Chapter 5. The Securities Regulators. Securities and Exchange Commission Info. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is a federal government regulation agency that oversees the financial brokerage business. If you have any complaints and questions about stocks and bonds, mutual funds, futures, options, etc., this is who you contact. They have a variety of free booklets. Some are as follows. Invest Wisely, advice from your securities industry regulators. Invest Wisely, an introduction to mutual funds. Questions you should ask about your investment. IOSCO.org, International Organization of Securities Commissions for all the countries in the world who have them. seclaw.com. sec.gov/rules/concindex.hdm. sec.gov/edgar/searchedgar/webussers.hdm, access to Edgar filings. sec.gov/rules/finrindex.hdm, SEC final rules. secinfo.com. sec.gov/enforce/litig.hdm, SEC litigation releases. sec.gov/rules/proposed.shtml, SEC proposed rules. seclaw.com/secrules.hdm, SEC rules and regulations. sec.gov/interps/account.shtml, SEC selected staff accounting bulletins. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. 450 5th St. Northwest. Washington, D.C. 20549. 800 seconds 0330. 202-272-2650. Fax, 202-942-9634. help@seconds.gov. sec.gov. SEC Regional Offices. SEC Headquarters. 450 5th Street NW. Washington, D.C. 20549. 202-942-7040. help@sec.gov. Northeast Regional Office. Securities and Exchange Commission. New York, New York 10048. 212-748-8000. New York at sec.gov. Boston District Office. 73 Tremont Street No. 600. Boston, Massachusetts 02108-3912. 617-424-5900. Boston at sec.gov. Philadelphia District Office. The Curtis Center No. 1120E. 601 Walnut Street. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19106-3322. 215-597-3100. Philadelphia at sec.gov. Southeast Regional Office. 1401 Brickell Avenue No. 200. Miami, Florida 33131. 305-536-4700. Miami at sec.gov. Atlanta District Office. 3475 Lenox Road N.E. No. 1000. Atlanta, Georgia 30326-1232. 404-842-7600. Atlanta at sec.gov. Midwest Regional Office. Citicorp Center No. 1400. 500 West Madison Street. Chicago, Illinois 60661-2511. 312-353-7390. Chicago at sec.gov. Central Regional Office. 1801 California Street No. 4800. Denver, Colorado 80202-2648. 303-844-1000. Denver at sec.gov. Fort Worth District Office. 801 Cherry Street 19th floor. Fort Worth, Texas 76102. 817-978-3821. DFW at sec.gov. Salt Lake District Office. 500 Key Bank Tower No. 500. 50 South Main Street. Salt Lake City, UT 84144-0402. 801-524-5796. Salt Lake at sec.gov. Pacific Regional Office. 5670 Wilshire Boulevard 11th floor. Los Angeles, California 90036-3648. 323-965-3998. Los Angeles at sec.gov. San Francisco District Office. 44 Montgomery Street No. 1100. San Francisco, California 94104. 415-705-2500. San Francisco at sec.gov. Seattle Office. 915 2nd Avenue. 3040 Jackson Federal Building. Seattle, Washington 98174. 206-220-7500. State Securities Offices. Each state has its own laws and regulations for securities brokers and all types of securities, including stocks, mutual funds, commodities, real estate offerings, uninsured investment products sold by banks and others. The officials and agencies listed below enforce these laws and regulations. Many of these offices can provide you with information to help you make informed investment decisions. State securities agencies are also responsible for preventing fraud and abuse in the sale of all but the largest securities offerings. If you have a question or complaint about an investment you have made or are about to make, call the company or the bank involved. If your complaint or question is not resolved, call the appropriate state securities agency. If writing, preface your letter with Securities Administration Office. Alabama. 770 Washington St. Number 570. Montgomery, Alabama 36130. 334-242-2984. Fax, 334-242-0240. 800-222-1253. Alaska. epub 110807. Juneau, Alaska 99811. 907-465-2521. Fax 907-465-2549. Arizona 1300 W. Washington 3rd FL. Phoenix, Arizona 85007. 602-542-4242. Fax 602-594-7470. cc.state.az. Arkansas 201 E. Markham 3rd FL. Little Rock, Arkansas 72201. 501-324-9260. Fax 501-324-9268. California 3700 Wilshire. Number 600. Los Angeles, California 90010. 213-736-2741. Fax 213-736-2117. corp.ca.gov. Colorado 1580 Lincoln. Number 420. Denver, Colorado 80203. 303-894-2320. Fax 303-861-2126. Connecticut 260 Constitution PLA. Hartford, Connecticut 06103. 800-831-7225. 860-240-8299. Fax 860-240-8178. State.cts. Delaware. State Office Building 820 North French St. 8th FL. Wilmington, Delaware 19801. 302-577-2515. Fax 302-655-0576. DC, City of Washington 717 14th St. Northwest. Washington, D.C. 20005. 202-626-5152. Fax 202-393-1389. Florida 101 East Gaines St. Tallahassee, Florida 32399. 850-488-9805. Fax 850-681-2428. 800-372-8792. 800-438-5326. Georgia 2 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Number 802, W Tower. Atlanta, Georgia 30334. 404-656-2894. Fax 404-657-8410. Hawaii epub 40. Honolulu, Hawaii 96810. 808-586-2744. 800-468-4644. Fax 808-586-2740. Hawaii.gov/dbedt. Idaho epub 83720. Boise, Idaho 83720. 888-346-3378. 208-334-3684. Fax 208-332-8098. State.id/finance/dof. Illinois 200 Lincoln Tower. 520 South 2nd St. Springfield, Illinois 62701. 217-782-2256. 800-628-7937. sos.state.il.us. Indiana 302 W Washington. Number E111. Indianapolis, Indiana 46204. 317-232-6681. 800-223-8791. Fax, 317-233-3675. ai.org/sos. Iowa. Lucas State Office Building. 2nd FL. Des Moines, Iowa 50319. 515-281-4441. Fax, 515-281-6467. state.ias/government/com/in/security. Kansas. 618 South Kansas Avenue. 2nd FL. Topeka, Kansas 66603. 913-296-3307. 800-232-9580. Fax, 913-296-6872. cjnetworks.com/ksecom. Kentucky. 477 Versailles Road. Frankfort, Kentucky 40601. 800-223-2579. 502-573-3390. Fax, 502-573-8787. dfi.state.kentucky.us. Louisiana. 8660 United Plaza Boulevard. 2nd FL. Baton Rouge, Louisiana 70809. 504-925-4512. Maine. 121 State House Station. Augusta, Maine 04333. 207-624-8551. Fax, 207-624-8590. Maryland. 200 St. Paul PL. 20th FL. Baltimore, Maryland 21202. 410-576-6360. Fax, 410-576-6532. Massachusetts. 1 Ashburton Place. Number 1701. Boston, Massachusetts 02108. 617-727-3548. 800-269-5428. Fax, 617-248-0177. Michigan. POG 222. Lansing, Michigan 48909. 517-334-6212. Fax, 517-334-6155. cis.state.mis/corp. Minnesota. 133 East 7th St. St. Paul, Minnesota 55101. 612-296-4026. Fax, 612-296-4328. 800-657-3602. Mississippi. POG 136. Jackson, MS 39205/202 North Congress St. Number 601. Jackson, Mississippi 39201. 601-359-6371. Fax, 601-359-2894. Missouri. POG 1276. Jefferson City, Missouri 65102. 573-751-4136. 800-721-7996. Fax, 573-526-3124. mos.sos.state.mos. Montana. POG 4009. Helena, Montana 59604. 406-444-2040. Fax, 406-444-3497. 800-332-6148. Nebraska. POG 95006. Lincoln, Nebraska 68509. 402-471-3445. ndov.org. Nevada. 555 East Washington Avenue. Number 5200. LV, Nevada 89101. 702-486-2440. Fax, 702-486-2452. 800-758-6440. New Hampshire. 204 State House. Concord, New Hampshire 03301. 603-271-1463. Fax, 603-271-7933. New Jersey. POB 47029. Newark, New Jersey 07101. 201-504-3600. Fax, 201-504-3601. New Mexico. 725 St. Michael's Drive. Santa Fe, New Mexico 87501. 505-827-7140. Fax, 984-0617. New York. 120 Broadway. 23rd FL. NYC 10271. 212-416-8200. Fax, 212-416-8816. North Carolina. 300 North Salisbury St. Number 100. Raleigh, North Carolina 27603. 919-733-3924. Fax, 919-821-0818. 800-688-4507. State.nc.us/SEC. North Dakota. 600 East Boulevard. Bismarck, North Dakota 58505. 701-224-2910. 800-297-5124. Fax, 701-255-3113. Ohio. 77 South High St. 22nd FL. Columbus, Ohio 43215. 614-644-7381. Fax, 614-466-3316. Securities.state.o.us. Oklahoma. First National Center. 120 N. Robinson. Number 860. Oklahoma City, 73102. 405-235-0230. Fax, 405-280-7742. lacrosse.state.ok.us/OSC. Oregon. 350 Winter St. Northeast. Number 21. Salem, Oregon 97310. 503-378-4387. Fax, 503-378-4178. cbs.or.us/external/dfcs. Pennsylvania. Eastgate Building. 1010 North 7th St. 2nd FL. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania 17102. 717-787-8061. 800-654-5984. 800-600-0007. Fax, 717-783-5122. Rhode Island. 233 Richmond St. Number 232. Providence, Rhode Island 02903. 401-277-3048. Fax, 401-273-5202. South Carolina. 1000 Assembly St. Columbia, South Carolina 29201. 803-734-9916. 800-734-1087. Fax, 803-734-2164. South Dakota. 118 West Capitol Avenue. Pierre, South Dakota 57501. 605-773-4823. Fax, 605-773-5953. Tennessee. 680 Davy Crockett Tower. 500 J. Robertson Parkway. Nashville, Tennessee 37243. 615-741-2947. 800-863-9117. Fax, 615-532-8375. Texas. POB 13167. Austin, Texas 78711. 512-305-8300. Fax, 512-305-8310. ssb.state.tx.us. Utah. POB 146,760. Salt Lake City, Utah 84114. 801-530-6600. 800-721 SAFE. Fax, 801-530-6600. commerce.state.uts. Vermont. 89 Maine St. Drawer 20. Montpelier, Vermont 05620. 802-828-3420. Fax, 802-828-2896. State.vts/bis. Virginia. POB 1197. Richmond, Virginia 23218. 804-371-9051. 800-552-7945. Fax, 804-371-9911. State.virginia/SCC. Washington. POB 9033. Olympia, Washington 98507. 360-902-8760. Fax, 360-586-5068. 800-372-8303. wa.gov/dfi/securities. West Virginia. 1900 Kanawha Boulevard East. Number 118 W. Charleston, West Virginia 25305. 304-558-2257. Fax, 304-344-2229. Wisconsin. POB 1768. Madison, Wisconsin 53702. 608-266-3431. 800-47 check. Fax, 608-256-1259. badger.state.wi.us/agencies/dfi. Wyoming. State Capitol Building. Cheyenne, Wyoming 82002. 307-777-7370. Fax, 307-777-5339. sosy.state.wis. Puerto Rico. 600 Centro Europa Building. 1492 Ponce de Leon Avenue. San Juan, Puerto Rico 00907. 787-723-3131. Fax, 787-723-4042.